Hello guys and welcome back into this video. Today we're gonna talk about Viper, if she's still playable after the nerf or not. I will make a map tier list and a few talk about if she's good there with a double control or not. So there will be like two map tier lists, we'll say. In my opinion, Viper is really hard to play at the moment as a solo controller. I will explain you why. For those who don't know, the Viper nerf is about her duration fuel to get back. So whenever you use your smoke or your wall to zero, or like you just used it, it will take a longer time to get your fuel back. Let's say you used all the way to zero. It will take 30 seconds to get the fuel at 100% instead of 20 before the nerf. So we will start instantly with the first map tier list where Viper is a solo controller. So not duo controller, only alone here. So definitely her best map at the moment is Pearl. I will definitely put Pearl here, because you can literally smoke the wall map and as your own, so you can now put a single orb on B side and your wall from A to art and double doors. You can see that it's looking really great like that, and you can play off the info of the team if they're pushing B, A. You need to really play with your fuel, because if they're making a fake on B, you will be fucked on A. So you really need to be careful with that, because your fuel takes a longer time to get back to you. Then I don't think there's any air tier map at the moment for Viper solo smoke. I think they're all under A, so between B, C or F. In my opinion, I would put A as for Lotus, I would say. Even though I'm not a big fan of this map for Viper, her wall for A side is really great, and you can either push C with only a smoke. I think it's possible if you communicate well with the team. But you know what? I think we'll put it on C, and I would put Bind on B. Because I love Bind, and I think you can do pretty much the same as Pearl. You can put in defense especially your wall for the wall B side and a smoke for A, or even go on B and put your wall through the TP and takes also behind shower and have your smoke for A side. So I think Bind is a pretty good map for Viper, but you will need to know some smoke lineup for attacker side to have like good smoke for BCT, etc. So I think Bind is a good map for solo controller, but again, you will need to be careful about the fuel and stuff. Ascent and Heaven, in my opinion, I would put both of them on C, because other smoker are better. Like on Ascent, you will put instantly an Omen, and Heaven, you could bet an Omen or an Astra. But these two maps are good, but as a solo controller, it's difficult if you don't know Viper perfectly. Fracture, I think Fracture is even harder. I would put SF for Fracture. Because Fracture here, you can just like put a simple wall for B main and a smoke for A, but you cannot smoke Dish, you cannot smoke Arcade. Like, it's so difficult to smoke all the stuff with Viper if you use already your wall, and there's like no lineup from A to B because of the big thing between the two sides. So it's like almost impossible to do smokes like that. So I would put definitely Fracture as the last map for Viper. Then for Split, I'm a bit skeptical for this one, but I think definitely that we could put Split next to Bind, because with Viper wall, you can take a lot of space. You can even cover Heaven and City. You can really cover the wall B side with your smoke that goes in Heaven and the wall that split the side. I think you can make pretty good pushes with Viper if you communicate well with the team. And well, in defense, you can pretty much do the same as Bind. So I would put this tier list like this. Icebox and Breeze will be definitely on S, but well, they're out of the rotation map, so this is how it looks like. So now let's do the tier list with double controller. The tier list with double controller will start again with Pearl. I think even if it's good as solo controller, it will be even better with a double controller, so you can like focus on a smaller part of the side of the map and have more fuel for yourself. So I think double controller on Pearl is pretty good. I think Bind is really great. We can put it in A tier now, because you can do a pretty good lurk with Viper on A side, make a lot of pressure, and you don't care about your smoke for the team, because well, you have the second controller to smoke for them on B side, or even for shower, whatever they want to do. So I think Bind will be in A tier. I think I would put also Ascent in A tier, because guys, I really love these two maps, Ascent and Heaven. And in my opinion, Sens and Heaven, when they're played with a good double controller, it's really good. Even though I would put still Viper B tier here, because it's really harder to play Viper double controller, like how you should play Heaven in a local way. I think it's more difficult than Sens. Sens is really good with a double controller, because you can take a wall side for yourself, like Sentinel, and you can keep the smoke for yourself. So whenever your smoke is down, you can use your snake bites to win even more time for the rotation. So I think Sens is an A tier map, definitely. Split, I think Split is even getting A. I'm hesitating with S, because I think Split is pretty good. I think I'll put S, because I think Split is pretty good for Viper. Again, when I'm playing double controller, I'm always doing this wall. This wall on A side makes so much pressure, and they have to adapt the setup, like make a Killjoy alarm bot in ramp if they have one, so it gives like more free space on A side. I think really this wall on Split is one of the best wall when you're playing double controller, so be sure to use it if you have an Omen or Astra or whatever you have as a second controller in your team. We miss like Fracture and Lotus. I think Lotus comes into A also, because the wall on A is so good for your team. I think really that Viper is a good pick with another controller on Lotus. And again, there's a wall you can do every time. It's this one. It gives you a lot of space on A side. You want to take or not take A side, they will have to respect it every time. So I really think that the wall on A is pretty good. Now let's head to the last map, which is Fracture. And Fracture, usually you play Viper and a Brim. And I still think it's pretty difficult to play Viper and another controller on this map. I don't know if I would put A or B tier here, as I'm not the biggest fan of Viper on Fracture, be fair with you, but I really think it can be good, as on Heaven you need to understand how to play the map, because it's like difficult. Okay, so yeah, this is the end of this tier map. It's well, they're pretty much high here, because in my opinion Viper with a double controller is always pretty good. So I hope you enjoyed these two map tier lists. Now I will tell you how we could balance Viper. So in my opinion, to make Viper balance, you will need to buff her wall and smoke. By saying buff her wall and smoke, I'm talking about the duration. So whenever you use your wall, you take like the full time of your fuel. It takes a long time, so it's pretty good. Same for the smoke. But when you use both at the same time to make a push on A, a push on B, a push on C, whatever you do, the wall and smoke are going down so fast that it's fucking frustrating. Like when you activate both of them, the fuel is going 50% faster down. And I think this is the way we should balance Viper, is to make like the fuel going like 25% faster down, or even 0. It would make Viper really balanced. Because I would understand that if we use both, that like staying long on the side, that you take a longer time to get your fuel back. This is the only way, in my opinion, that it would be correct to make Viper 30 seconds to get her fuel back. This is the only way, in my opinion, you could like balance Viper, because well, they already nerfed the Viper snake bites, they nerfed the Viper lineups, they nerfed the duration of the wall and the smoke, they nerf the ultimate. Like they nerf Viper so fucking much that it's frustrating, and I understand why people are going towards other smoker, because the Viper solo controller, as I showed you in the first map tier list, is really difficult to play on almost every map at the moment. So I understand, and I think it's pretty frustrating with the nerf they did, because whenever you smoke for a part of the map and they're rotating to you and you put down the smoke on B, but well, it took so much time to get your fuel back, then whenever they come on A, you have nothing left. Like you can smoke 2 seconds, then it's going down and it just popped into the side and you're pretty fucked. So yeah, this is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned about the Viper nerf, and hope now you understand that Viper is still playable, but most likely with the double controller. But well, if you want to see me playing on all of these maps on stream, I'm still living almost every day, and even tonight I'm insta-looking Viper on every map, so I don't care. I can show you how good she is. And yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next week for a gameplay video. Bye bye.